Hi everyone, so today I'm back with another case study and I'm going to talk about a client I worked with and I helped them overcome their fear of traffic lights. Now this is a very common fear and the first time you hear about this you can laugh and think, how could anyone be afraid of traffic lights? But it's nothing to do with traffic lights, that's just what sets the problem off. So let's get into this case and let's tell you what happened and what the cause of it was. So this client came to me and they had the classic symptoms that many people have, and those are that whenever they got to a set of traffic lights they would stop, and they were fine if they were on green, if they just carried on when they were driving anywhere else, absolutely fine, no problems whatsoever. But whenever they stopped at a traffic light they would have a sudden panic attack, all the classic symptoms of gripping the wheel, feeling shaking like this, and they said I feel like I've just got to get out the car and run. And on some occasions they said I was actually very close to just opening the door and running, and I just want to leave my car at the lights and run. So this, as I've said before, is only a symptom. So the traffic lights are triggering off something from their past. So we went through therapy and I think this took one session and we did another one after because there was another part of the problem we had to work on. I think we did 3 overall, but the number of sessions is not important because sometimes it just takes time to get to the root cause. But if you want to overcome your fear of driving or any fear and phobia, all you need to do is get to the root cause and then work on that. So there are 2 parts. Find what the problem really is, and most times it will then fix itself because you bring what the problem really is from your subconscious to your conscious and that clears it. But if it doesn't, you can just do some work on that manually. So anyway, using the methods that I use, we discovered this memory. And this is the funny thing, because I'm experienced at doing this and I've worked with hundreds of people all over the world over the last 4 years. I've been doing this online. And when people start to say it, they don't realise they can't see what I'm seeing because I think, here we go, this is the cause of it. So we were talking and this client just said, oh, I've just had a memory pop into my mind. And I'm thinking, here we go, this is it. And they said, I don't know what this has got to do with anything. So the memory was, and as always I've changed this slightly for client privacy, but you would never know who this was anyway. And I'll talk more about that at the end. So I've got some news coming at the end. They said they had this memory come up of when they were at school. Now this is very often the case because most problems begin before you were 18 and very often before you're 8, which I'll go into in other videos. But whenever a client says they've had a memory come up from those times in their life, you know it's most likely going to be relevant. So this client had a memory come up of their school days, and all it was is it's quite a funny thing. One day they were in, I think it was the lunch hall where they were all having their lunch, whatever, and there was probably 100 people or more in this room. One of their friends had played a prank on them, and everyone in the whole room was laughing at them. Now, can you see why that would cause someone to have a fear of traffic lights? Because again, to me, that's obvious why that would cause a fear of traffic lights. It sounds obscure, but the more you work with this stuff, this is why I specialise, the more you work with the same thing all the time, you get to hear the same things and you can quickly think, oh yeah, most people would think, well, what's that got to do with anything? You've got a fear of traffic lights and you had a prank played on you at school. Those 2 things go hand in hand brilliantly. And he even said to me, it's quite funny because clients can't see, they can't tell what they're saying. He said, oh, I remember they played this prank on me and my face went bright red and I just had to run out of the room. Bright red, had to run out of the room. What was their problem again? when they got to a red light, they had to run from their car. Red, red, run, run. And it's hilarious how they just couldn't see the link. Some people watching this won't see the link. You get to a red light and you want to run. You were in front of everyone in school. Your face went bright red and you had to run. Get it? So we went through that problem because I had suffered a lot. It was like they'd been upset by this prank that was played on them. And you see, that's what was causing their problem, because whenever they got to a traffic light, now whether the red light and the red face were linked, we never really know. But, it was funny how similar it was. But you have to be careful to work with, not with correlation. I've done a video about correlation and causation of driving anxiety. But simply when they got to a red light, they felt the need to run because of this problem from school, because I was so embarrassed, and embarrassment is a strong feeling. We're looking for a strong feeling in sessions, and that's one of the strongest there is. You know what it's like when you're in front of a group of people and they all start laughing at you. It's not nice. People go red and they get embarrassed and you feel ashamed, and you've got to run, get out of there, because you don't want people laughing at you. As I've said in other videos, I think it was the second case study video I did, the one where I picked up the cat, and it was about unfamiliar places. I mentioned why it's so important that people are accepted in that video. So go and check that one out if you haven't seen it already. But that's what the problem was. So at school, they'd been laughed at in front of a group of people. That had given them this fear of being watched. That was what we call the sensitizing event. It's the event that made them sensitive to being laughed at. So when they stopped to the red light, they felt everyone was watching them because they're not moving. And they were looking at people and shaking, reliving the feeling from school. Now, of course, it's got nothing to do with being at school. You're not at school when you're at traffic lights. That's how you break the problem, because your mind has linked the two things together. School, traffic lights. So you unlink them and you can now get to traffic lights. And they said to me, a few days later, they said, it's amazing, I'll get to a light and stop. And it's just nothing. I don't feel a thing. I'm not panicked at all. The other parts of the problem remained, so we worked on those separately, because sometimes they're all linked. Sometimes you have to break them down one by one. So I don't believe in these one session wonders. Yes, it's great if you can have one session, it's all done. Doesn't matter. If you need 2 or 3, fine. We work on it. You can break the problem down over time. So that's what I mean when I say driving anxiety has nothing to do with driving. It was the memory from school that was causing the problem, and no amount of breathing exercises, being calm, listening to relaxing whale music, none of that would have got them to the school memory. And sometimes people say to me, I don't know what's happened, I don't understand any of this, but the problem's gone. So thanks. You don't have to understand it, but I'm making these videos to help educate people. That's the kind of thing that it is. Now again, that's a fairly simple case, but how do you actually get to the memory? Well, I've made a whole series of videos about finding the root cause, which I'll link to on the screen now, and check out the other videos for more help with your fear of driving. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one online from anywhere in the world, contact me through my website, firstdrive.com. Feel free to subscribe if you like more videos like these. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.